So let's go to your users. Now, I don't see a routing by time user. So let's create one then. I would just put routing by and then time as the last name. Yep. And I keep those in the 300 range. It's a routing user. You ain't got it yet. Just fill it in with something. Okay. No portal doesn't matter. Caller ID, voicemail doesn't matter. So just save. Right. All right. So then once that saves, we will go back into that. Yes, sir. Now let's go back into that. Answering rules. Yes, sir. Yep, that's it. All right. All right. So what's going to have here is we automatically have a default line. All right. So now we got right here. So you got a default line that's automatically going to be there. We're going to let that be our closed time frame. So I'm assuming you've already built an business hours time frame in your time frames, correct? Okay. So you have what she wants for the hour range of when it goes to the ring group. So basically, you have an open and a closed is what you're trying to route, right? So we're going to let that default be closed. And then we're going to add a rule because we have closed already. We'll handle that in a minute, but let's add a rule in the top right. And let's select the business. The rule is what do we want to do during business time frame? So let's select that business time frame at the very top there. We'll drop that and select the business hours. Yep. Okay, now always click the always button. Check the always and populate that with the ring group. So now we have the ring group, but so we already have it set in the ring group that if nobody picks it up, if it's unanswered, it kicks to the auto attendant. So we've kind of covered our ends there. So that's it. So just go ahead and save that at the bottom because the call is going to hit the routing by time user. It's going to hit the ring group. And then if like she wants, if it's unanswered, it's going to the auto attendant. So we're good there. Now we need to change up the close. So we're going to edit that and we're going to go to the default, edit the default at the bottom right, the pencil mark on the default line. Okay, so we're going to click always, and we're going to go to that closed auto attendant for that. We're going to let default be our closed catch all. This is why when I talk in training about it's not necessary to create an after hours time frame. I'll save that. All right, now let's go to our inventory and point that phone number at the routing by time user. And now we're covered because during business hours, it's going to hit the auto. It's going to hit the routing by time user. Realize that it is business hours. Hit the ring group, and then if the ring group goes unanswered, it goes to the auto attendant. So we've covered our ground there. And then the default line basically says when it's not business hours, which is only one other option, after hours, it's going to go automatically. It's going to follow that line and go to the closed auto attendant, which is what she wants. Yep. Basically, that's mama bear deciding where everything goes and what it does. Yep. Yep. We're going back to the answering rules. We're going to look at the same thing we just looked at. Okay. So if you were to add a rule for holidays, say if they called you up and said, Jay, during the holidays, I want to create a holiday auto attendant. Well, yes. So you would select an auto, you hit add a rule, right? So you would select the holiday time frame, excuse me, and then you would click always, just like we did for business hours. You would click, I always want it to go here during a holiday. And then you would put that at the top only because we can create it and delete it. So just type something and maybe type a voicemail in or something. Because you don't have a holiday auto attendant. So maybe send it to somebody's voicemail during holidays for now, at least. 101, and you're going to have two options. Type 101. See how you have voicemail for 101? So to answer your original question while we went here, holidays would have to be at the top. You are right about that because if Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, that falls in the business hours time frame you have built. Thursday at 3 o'clock, where phones are ringing. So the system doesn't know it's Thanksgiving. So if holidays is below business hours, it's never going to get to holidays that are on the week. So if you default closed catch all, like if it's not a holiday, it's not business hours, it's got to be closed. That's closed. So this is where it goes. Yep. Well, that's because you're under a live user. So it is you're on the right, you have the right thinking. It's just a little different here. So go hit one or remove one. Just hit the remove button over there on the right, the remove blue button, trash it. So now go back and click one again. And fourth option, fifth option over. No, not management. That's for managing it. So remove that. That's for people on the road, just voicemail. That means, hey, when they press that button, they're automatically going to a voicemail. Voicemail management would be enter the voicemail box that you want to check, and then it's for people checking voicemails on the road type thing. And you can also, by chance, like say maybe this is just kind of for future reference, say an AC company or some type of company says, hey, we want to have a tech on call, right? And we want to have our after hours auto attendant that says for the emergency tech, dial here. And that's when you can just select a random option. We're not going to save it just so I could show you. Um, you can have an external number and ring that tech on calls number, just to throw that out there in case that's, you might run across that in the future with a company who wants to have it go to an outside number, a on tech call for emergency hours.